This is $3,500 worth of mock toes that we cut apart in just this year's Mocktober. That's why it spilled over until it's like December 5th or 6th right now, and I'm just barely recording this, and this doesn't come out for a couple weeks. So this Mocktober went long. It was a very informative Mocktober because we really focused on the affordable work boot range and some of the premium, mostly like heritage premium boot range. And at the end of this video, we're gonna rank all of the mock toes that we've cut apart throughout all the various years of Mocktober with the affordable work boot range and the premium range. And we did cut apart a couple more little guys here with the Sperry's and the Ariat Spitfires, but they don't really fit the whole story of this video. So we're gonna go through really quickly, layer by layer, rank them in a bunch of different ways, some pitfalls, some corners cut, just everything condensed to a single video. And if you want more in-depth information, you can always go check out the links in the description that have specific videos that are 15 minutes long on each individual boot. So first, these are ranked from most expensive to least expensive, with the Russells at $750, the Trumans at $500, the Fry's at $368, the Red Wings, the Gore-Tex version at $360, the Origin Main's new mock toe $329, Brunt's US made boot $260, Duradero's boot at $225, Twisted X at $200, the Sorel Slab Towns at $180, the Quality Denver at $170, Ariat Spitfire that we pulled off as $120, the Sperry AO is $110, and on the end is the Hey Dude Bradley's at $90. So what type of boots are we talking about? Well, like I mentioned, there's two types we're going to talk about. The affordable work boot range, you know, they're targeted for work boots. They're under $350 and under, and the more premium boots that are not necessarily specifically work boots, like the Trumans aren't work boots, the Russells aren't work boots, but they're your more premium boots. So the way we've broken that down is the premiums are the Russells, the Trumans, the Red Wings, the Fry's. The affordable work boots are the Quality, Duradero, Twisted X, Brunt, Origin, Hey Dude, Sorel. And as for where these are made, the Russell moccasins are fully made in the United States. The Trumans are made in the United States. The Red Wings are made in the United States. The Origin mock toes all made in the United States. But the Origin mock toe, keep in mind, it's the most US made boot of all time. And on that note, there's also the Brunt made in the United States from globally sourced components. The Sorels are from Vietnam, and the Hey Dudes are from Cambodia. For Mexico made boots, you've got Fry, you've got Duradero, Quality, and for China, you've got Twisted X, as we clearly found out by the handwritten note stuffed inside one of their boots. This is all of our boot accessories that we've slowly developed over like the last 4 years as we've done more and more boot reviews and realized how many things are missing in the market. Because if you're watching this, there's a good chance you have a nice boot, and one of the funnest things to do with it is start to build it out, kit it out, customize it, make it your own as you're breaking it in. And that's what these kilties and boot pocket kits allow you to do. We got them in a bunch of different leathers, a lot of really popular boot leathers. They come in different sizes. You got the fringe, you got the no-shows, you got 6, 8, 10 inch, you got the boot pocket kit with 3 different pockets, different sizes. Sew it on the side of your boot, sew it on your jacket, sew it on anything. And we also just released these laces, but they sell out every time we get a restock. So if they are sold out, get on that limited edition email list. We'll announce when we have a restock of these. Even down to the Jim Green outsole we designed with Jim Green for the barefoot boots. You can buy them on our site. But the most surprising products of the year that really were shockingly successful was the boot breakers. You know, we launched this, it was 2 millimeters of foam and a high abrasion fabric just to help break your boots, because this hard veg tan is such a pain to break in for the first few weeks. Just having 2 millimeters of squish still allows you to break in that insole, still allows you to get the whole heritage feel, but it eases that painful break-in until you're ready to pull them out, or you just leave them in for tons of comfort. And we just launched the 4 millimeter foam boot breaker if you want just a little extra squish, twice as thick as the original boot breaker. So now that you've bought probably a few high quality boots, customize them, protect them, make them a little bit more comfortable. That's what all these accessories do. So be sure to check out all these below. They make great gifts, self gifts, and it's a huge way that you can help support the channel. So check them out below. So now looking at all the uppers, how do we rank these? Well, the Russell moccasins is 2.5 millimeter, nice leather. It's a new buck leather. It took 120 pounds to puncture through, but I would put the Truman above it, and in terms of quality, it's a little bit thicker. It's a more substantial leather, and the whole boot is leather, whereas the PH is intentionally more flexible by having that fabric on the side. But they're honestly pretty comparable. Fry Hudson did not have great leather. It's 1.7 millimeters thick. You know, it's very standard leather. The leather choice was pretty rough, but it is still leather and it's pretty decent. The Fry is 1.7 millimeters thick and took 94 pounds to puncture through. The Red Wing is a really cool leather. It's one of my favorite leathers, and it's just up to Red Wing quality and standards. The Red Wing waterproof leather is 2.2 millimeters thick, took 107 pounds, so pretty on par with the rest of them. Same thing with Origin. This is a 2.2 millimeters thick and 118 15 pounds. This is a Seidel leather, very similar to these two leathers. Really the Russells, Trumans, Red Wings are fairly similar quality of leather, whereas the Fries are really the only one that aren't great. Then looking at your affordable work boots, you've got the Brunt, which is actually pretty good leather. It's 2 millimeters thick, took 97 pounds of puncture through, by far the best leather we've seen from Brunt, and it's gonna be a nice, soft, and durable work boot leather. Duradero's pretty similar to what we've seen from the Rock Roosters, the more affordable work boots that are around 150 bucks, so it's definitely not $225 premium leather. To put it in perspective, it's worse leather than the Brunts. The Duraderos are 2.1 millimeters thick and 140 pounds of puncture through. The Twisted X, pretty decent leather, no, not terrible, not great. 2 millimeters thick, 84 pounds of puncture through. The Sorel says it's waterproof leather, but it's not even remotely waterproof. The boots aren't waterproof. It's a complete disaster of a boot, and the leather reflects that. It's not terrible, but it's nowhere near the quality you'd want for this price point. The Quality Denver was some weird leather. It's not terrible, but it has some weird burning properties, and it just, I don't know what's going on with it, but it like kind of half melted. I don't think it's terrible leather. It's 2 millimeters thick, 140 pounds of puncture through. It's just weird leather. It might have just been the one hide we got. And then the absolute worst leather is the Hey Dudes, you know, and I wouldn't have put these on the work boot category, but they kind of advertise them as work boots. They kind of, and like online and stuff, people are like, yeah, these are the best boots in the world. I'm like, yeah, except for this not really leather. Bottom of the barrel, because it's fake synthetic leather, 2 millimeters thick and 75 pounds to puncture through, melts, gets all wrinkly, it's nasty, fake leather is garbage. So if I were to say which of the premium leathers is the best, I'd go Truman, Russell, Red Wing, Fry. For affordable work boots, I would go Origin, Brunt, Twisted X, Duradero, Quality, Sorel, and I don't even want to say the Hey Dude's name in this category. It's not even real leather. As for linings in your premium boots, the Russells have zero lining. The Trumans have just a lining in the vamp. It's a grain leather. It's pretty decent quality. The garbage lining in the Fries, and then your more waterproof insulating lining in the Red Wings. In terms of ranking them, you know, they have different use cases. This is waterproof. These two are minimal because they're more heritage, and these are more dress boot, and they have terrible leather. So the only ones I'd be concerned about is the Fries. The rest are fine. For the work boots, with Origin, you have a fabric liner. With the Brunts, you have this moisture wicking chevron style liner. With the Duraderos, you have just a fabric liner in the vamp. The Twisted X, that chevron lining. Sorel, just a cheap canvas lining that doesn't even have a waterproof lining to make it waterproof. They just lied straight out. Quality has a fabric liner, and then Hey Dudes is just fabric lined and a fake leather on the inside as well. So which lining is best out of the affordable work boots? Depends on what you need. If you want the moisture wicking aspects, you can get the more chevron stuff in the Origins and the Twisted X. If you're wanting a minimal lining, you maybe go with the Duradero because it's unlined. Not the quality because it's not necessarily unlined, but it's closer. And then if you want a fabric lining that just acts like a regular sneaker almost, you got Origin. As for insoles, this is where things are kind of heavily BS in the work boot market. With your Russells, just a half sock liner. With the Trumans, you have that full length veg tanned insole that's only a millimeter and a half-ish thick, so it's kind of a smart way of doing it. It gets a little compression while still having all that veg tan under your foot. A little bit more comfortable than just a big slab or even a half sock liner. This is pretty garbage. You know, leather top, cheap foam. Then the Red Wings, you've got that lining with some pour-on foam underneath in the fiberboard, so they're built more like their comfort style of heritage boots rather than their true heritage boots, which it's a waterproof boot, and you need that waterproof lining and that insulation, so for me, it's fine. As for the work boots, you've got the Origin, just a typical insole fabric top. Brunt does have this big squishy insole with a little thin one that you can adjust your sizing with. Duradero's got a pretty good insole, gonna be nice and comfy, nothing to complain about. Twisted X has the recycled foam, it's still a pretty good insole. Sorel's garbage. Quality, pretty similar to Duradero. They look like they're made in the same factory. I'm convinced these are made either by the same brand or the same company. And for Hey Dudes, just a typical Hey Dude insole, nothing special. So I don't even think we need to rank those. It's just more to give you the information so you can choose what you might want to do, because all the work boots, they're removable insoles, which is probably the most important thing anyway. What about construction? Well, you've got the Russells. It's a true moccasin construction where it's a seamless wall, so you literally just feel like leather socks when you wear them. With the Trumans, you have a true Goodyear welt construction with the cork filling, the leather insole, the true Goodyear welt with the leather welt. With the Fries, you have what looks like that, but in all reality, it's a way cheaper construction with some weird stuff going on with their hiding leather, and it's just a complete mess. But it is truly 360-degree Goodyear welted though, so that's at least going for it. The Red Wing 360 Goodyear welt, very typical of Red Wing. You got that cork filling, the leather welt, the true Goodyear welt. And then for the work boots, this is where things got a little bit wonky, where you never know what you're gonna get with this work boot range. Origin, true Goodyear welts, the first 360 Goodyear welt. Brunt is a Goodyear welt. It does have that foam feeling, and there's a couple spots where you've got patches of reinforcement fiberboard underneath and that lasting material. So it might get a little bit lumpy. You know, I'd rather have a complete layer, because if you look at the Duraderos, same story. You've got hard compressed cardboard and this like cheaper felted material. They start and stop at different points. So you have like these weird crumple zones and they start delaminating. This Twisted X is weird. It looks like it's Goodyear welted, but it's just cemented. It's built more like a sneaker, but you got all this weird technology through like the midsole with these blue balls, and they give you a little bit of squish, and they're super comfy, and this outsole is super comfy. It's just not true Goodyear welted. It's just cemented, so you have that potential fail point of it delaminating. Sorels just glued together, complete garbage. Quality, it's like I said, about the same as the Duradero. It's got the multiple layers overlapping, and Quality got upset about this video. They sent some scathing emails to my email box, and then they tried to get the video taken down, and then we tried to get it back up, and then because it damages your YouTube ranking, and they like punish you if you get one taken down, because we took like a 2-second clip from their website and they copyright struck it. And then Hey Dudes is just cemented. As for the midsole outsole combination with the Russells, you got that wedge, gives you a little bit of squish at the heel, a little bit of lift, and allows you not to immediately start wearing through your boot. And you've got the Vibram sole that I really like. The Truman has got their new Truman branded V100 Vibram-ish looking outsole. Seems like a pretty good outsole. Some people are gonna love, some people are gonna hate that Truman logo every time they take a step. Fry, garbage. Look at all these voids in here. Just like cheap rubber, just built like an Amazon boot, to be honest. Red Wing's got their classic wedge. It's a blown rubber, so it gives you grip. It's not gonna last as long as a polyurethane wedge, but a lot of people like it for the grip and for the feel. Now going to the work boots, Origin has that polyurethane wedge sole. So it's gonna be more wear resistant, but potentially less grippy. And for a work boot, this is one of the outsole I really like, the polyurethane wedges. Brunt has a hybrid wedge where you've got that harder rubber shell with the softer midsole, kind of combining some of the issues and attributes of just a regular wedge. Duradero, just a cheaper version of polyurethane wedge. Like I mentioned with the Twisted X, it's just crazy. There's blue balls all over the place, and it's really comfy, and it is really squishy, and they clearly focus on comfort. And this is the most unique midsole outsole combination of the entire series. It's almost worth taking a gamble on because of how comfortable they are, to me. Sorel, just a cheap, I think it's rubber wedge, but it's nowhere near the quality of the higher quality stuff. Quality, same thing, a more cheap wedge, almost like it's exact same place as Duradero's sourcing theirs. And then Hey Dudes is just a cheap Hey Dude wedge. As for shanks, no shank in the Russells because they're supposed to be malleable and flexible. The Trumans have a fiberglass shank, so it's a little bit more lightweight and has a little bit of flex to it. The Fry's just a steel shank, but kind of a weak steel shank. The Red Wings don't have a shank, whereas with the Origin, you can see you've got a fiberglass shank supporting that arch. Brunt has, they say it's like a nylon shank, but it barely supports anything, so I don't even consider it a shank, to be honest. The Duraderos have a really thin, cheap shank. It's similar to the Fry. It's not as quality as some of these other steel shanks you see in higher quality boots. The Twisted X have a similar nylon shank that doesn't really do much. Sorels, same garbage nylon plastic shank. Quality, same shank as Duradero. And Hey Dudes, no shank. So now, let's give out some awards. It's just across the board and into individual categories. Which of these boots has the absolute best leather? Which one would I choose if I had to choose a leather? Probably Truman. It's a nice thick leather, it's malleable, it's gonna be durable. Obviously there's different use cases, but that's probably the best leather of the bunch. Best bang for your buck, best quality per dollar spent. I would probably say Origin, because half of these I wouldn't even buy. Obviously, the value that's provided by a moccasin is not the intrinsic value you're trying to get from a work boot. You're not going to necessarily treat these like a work boot, and they're $500. The Fries are garbage. And so I think the best bang for your buck in this lineup is probably the Origins. Best looking mock toe. I love these Russell mocks, but you know, the Trumans look really good too. What about the work boots? Which ones are the best looking? I like the Origins again, but the Duraderos are your classic mock toe, clearly a clone of Thorogoods. Now, one of my favorite things to do is which boot is best for which use. Well, the Russells are a really lightweight, like sneaking boot, lightweight hunting boot, summer hiking boot. You get all those advantages of the seamless sidewall and footbed. So it's just a nice lightweight hiker. Trumans are your classic heritage boot. They're gonna feel like a work boot, but they're gonna be a little bit more comfortable than a work boot. It's like a Pacific Northwest boot paired down or a Red Wing paired up. Don't buy these for any reason. If you want a cool pair of classic moccasins, heritage boots that are gonna be a little more comfortable and ready for winter and waterproof, these are a good option. And it's got this cool, I love this leather color. For a true USA made boot, the most USA made boot that you can buy because of all the materials they source from here, that's where you go with the Origin. It's a really good work boot. It's traditionally made while still having some of the more like Thorogood attributes. I like that they did the flesh out heel counter. And so for me, if you've got the money, this is probably the best work boot of the bunch, but it is pretty pricey. And you are paying for that US premium cost. Brunts, if you're a Brunt lover, this is at least somewhat made in the US and it is better than their other ones. And this is the best Brunt we've seen so far. but I just have a hard time supporting Brunt for my personal life. Duradero, I have a hard time supporting this too because it's pretty terrible construction for the price, and they do bring up the value by giving you a free resole, but I'm not convinced that these materials would last through a resole, and I wouldn't want to ship it to get a resole, and I already have the price baked in before I've even got to the point of a resole, so you're paying up front for something that you might not get, and that's why I have a hard time supporting these. It's a cool business model and idea, I just don't think it works for me. Twisted X, weird, you know, like if you want to take a gamble on some real comfort and some unique features and attributes, this could be a bit of a gamble, but it's gonna be very comfy. Sorel, don't buy. Quality, hopefully they're working on it. You know, it's just a lot of bullshit with this, and anytime a brand's like trying to take down a video because of what we showed people is on the inside of their boot, it makes me a little suspect. And then don't buy these for work boots. Even though they're kind of saying they are, they're just Hey Dudes with a taller top, and they're fake leather. Don't. They're gross. What about which of these you might want to avoid or you should avoid? Well, Fry, you probably want to avoid. These specific Brunts you don't, but some of their other stuff I would avoid. Duradero, I have a hard time believing that's going to be beneficial with the whole resole thing. I kind of like Twisted X, if I'm being honest. I like when they do weird stuff like that. Don't buy the Sorels, don't buy that. Quality is another one. I'd give them a couple years. Don't buy the Hey Dudes. So now, final overall ranking of 2024, just off of quality. And the quality can mean different things for different people. For me, it's the value a little bit. It is the comfort a little bit, but for the most part, it's just quality materials per dollar spent because it's about as objective as you can get. So to me, number one, it's probably the Trumans. You might have thought to put the Russells above, but you pay a lot of money for some of the features and attributes you can only get from moccasins that maybe won't apply to as many people or don't care as much. And it is a very expensive boot when you just look at materials. And a lot of that cost comes in the 6 to 10 times more labor it takes to make these boots. Then number two, I'd put Russell. Number three, I would probably put Origin Main. You know, I think it's a pretty good argument to make that's the next best boot across the board for all reasons. Then I would go Red Wing because it's very similar to Origin. It's just a waterproof, and you could swap those. I think there's an argument you can make for either of those. Next, I would probably say Brunt because it is not a terrible boot. Like if you remove any previous thoughts about Brunt's branding and their other products and some of the other stuff they've done and who they are, it's not a bad boot at all. But at the same time, I hate when they're like, oh, we finally made a USA boot, guys. We finally did it. Except for it's all stuff shipped in and we just barely put it together in the US. Then next, I would probably put Fry. You know, you can put Fry above. It's just there's so much junk and corners cut and garbage on here. I just have a hard time putting it even above Brunt. Then I would go, honestly, to Twisted X. There's something about this brand that even in this video has grown on me just from talking about it again. Next, I would go Duradero, then Quality, probably Hey Dudes next, because this is so much false advertising and lying to your consumer. It literally says waterproof here and it's not even remotely waterproof. Now for a really fun part, we're gonna rank every single affordable work boot mock toe that's in that 350-ish and under range of all the mock toes we've done of all the various Mocktovers. And you might disagree with this, and I might change my mind tomorrow, but this is how I'm currently ranking them. Number one, White's Perry Select. Number two, Origin Mock Toe. Number three, Thorogood. Number four, Carolina. Number five, Danner Bull Run. Number six, Irish Wings Shooter. Number seven, Wolverine I-90. Number eight, Georgia. Number nine, Rock Rooster. Number 10, Brunt Marin USA. Number 11, Duradero, then Twisted X, then Quality, then the Brunt Marins, the previous ones we've done, then the Carhartt Wedge, then Golden Fox, and then scraping the barrel, we get down to Portland Leather Goods Mock Toe. Then I'd go down to Harley Davidson, the Bose, and then Hey Dude Bradley and Sorel. Sorel, you should be embarrassed with this. It's really embarrassing. What about the premium boots, your high-end heritage boots, 350-ish and up? I personally, this is my number one because I love this boot through and through. But there's gonna be some people that put this like number 3 or 4. Because next I would put Nick's mock toe, then Truman, then the 2 Grant Stone mock toes we've done, then the 4 or 5 Red Wings that we've done. Then I would go to the Rancourt Baxter boot, then Thursday Diplomat, next Alden Indy, pretty far down. I did spitefully kind of put Alden Indy below Thursday, but you could swap those. And the Rhodes mock toe, then the J. Crew, the Echo Stalker, the Allen Edmonds, then Fry, then Wested, the Indiana Jones boot. And there's a few other boots that were just, the mock toes are pretty garbage. I wouldn't rank in premium or work boot that we're just gonna disregard. And that is your updated ranking and information and your quick-ish rundown of every single component. And now you should be able to choose in the description which of these you might be interested in. Go watch that full video. So let me know what you thought of this. Do you like this kind of style of video where it's just rapid fire information video where you just condense an entire series into one video? And thank you guys for supporting this Mocktober. I love Mocktober. It's so fun. It's just a good time because you get to hyper fixate and you start seeing little things like this this. Next up, I want to do the Medusa series. We need to bring that back. And I also want to do a cowboy boot series. So let me know what else you guys want us to do in 2025, because it's going to be a wild year. So thank you guys for all your support this year, especially for Mocktober. It's your guys' support that's allowing us to do this at higher and higher levels, improving what we're doing, and really establishing Rose Anvil and this whole thing that we're doing as the #1 resource in the entire world for footwear. And we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you guys, and check all these out below, and check out our handmade leather goods and the brands we work with, our collaborations, all that stuff. So thank you guys. See ya.